everyone. For this Random Talk Sunday, I thought it would be interesting to give some advice to those who are seeking jobs or employment. I guess you could say that they are basically the same thing, but just another wording for it. But basically, I am now sort of out of that stage. And I just wanted to give some feedback and some input so that it may help people who are maybe struggling to find something that they would like to do as a career and or job. So without further ado, let me sort of discuss some things that could, I think, be very potentially helpful. I think if you apply for jobs that reflect your interests and background, then I think that's something that's very helpful. Depending on the industry that you want to go into, depending on the subset maybe within that industry that you would like to be in, having something that reflects your interest, whether it be through education or it be through your background and what you've done in the past, I think is really what can help you get yourself into the door. You know, if you look at your internships and what kind of companies they were, maybe applying for a company that does something similar would be a benefit. For example, I worked for a nonprofit and I got an interview with a nonprofit organization. So doing those kinds of things and reflecting them on your resume, I think will help people notice it and take a interest in you in particular. So really try to do that. Focus on the background and trying to figure out certain things that interest you and that have been part of sort of your education as well as a part of your interests and what do you think would be a good fit for you. I think stating what you accomplished throughout your background and education is very important, like listing various achievements, listing what you sort of contributed to the organization. Sometimes I understand that some, and probably the majority of internships are busy work, but if you can somewhat fit in the positive impact and influence that you had while working there, I think really contributes into people paying attention and realizing that what you did was valuable and important. So focusing on that aspect when you're describing each past work experience that you've had, I think would really, really help a lot of people. Also, the persistence. It's a job to get a job. And what I mean by that is that you have to look every day. You can't really skip over days unless, again, you have a vacation planned or something like that, or it's a week off. That's totally fine. But I would say be persistent, and I'd say start early. If you have not graduated yet, but you are going to graduate after this coming semester, like let's say you're graduating in fall, or let's say you're graduating the next spring. I would say if you're graduating within the fall, start looking now, and if you are graduating in the spring, start looking after fall. So once the spring semester starts, sort of similar to when the fall semester starts, start looking for employment opportunities if you're graduating in the fall, because that will really help you sort of understand and get a sense of who's responding or what's your it'll give you a sense of what's going on, and what's available within the marketplace. So doing it a little bit ahead of time, I think, will help. It may not mean that you will get an interview right away, but it does give you a little bit of knowledge and a little bit of understanding of the different kinds of positions that would be available that apply to your particular field or your particular industry, or companies that work within the industry or field that you want to go into. So really doing that kind of research on the side of schooling. See, that's why I really emphasize people get their core stuff done out of the way early, so that you have it easier on yourself once you get done with the core. Because if you're more interested in what you're doing now, it'll be a lot easier for you, I believe, if you're in the right field, and it's something that you're really good at. Then I think it will allow you more time to look for things that interest you and that appeal to you. So that persistence level, I think, is important. I think if you just be persistent and you just keep going. The idea is you never give up. You just keep going. You just keep at it. That's the kind of mindset that you want to be in. I really want to emphasize this point because I think it holds across the board. Resume and cover letters should be short, not more than a page, because when someone's looking at your resume and cover letter, it's going to be very brief. They're not going to read fully into what is written down, but they want to see some key points in there. And if those key points are highlighted and you express them within the cover letter and within the resume, then it shows. So you just want to keep it short and to the point and simple, because employers have had this issue where people have sent really long cover letters or resumes explaining in-depthly, certain things that they did. And the thing is you don't need to be in-depth. That's really what the interview is designed to be, is to be a little bit more in-depth and explain maybe a little bit more and give the person who's interviewing you more context as to what you've done in your background and in your education. So that's something I think that's definitely worth recommending, and is something that I think a lot of people end up doing, which is really strange. I don't know. I think a lot of younger people know that it's one page each, like don't go further, but I think there's still some times where people will go a little bit overboard. Networking can be very helpful. I think networking with people who you've known from school, talking to people in particular, maybe professors you've had, to help you out if you need it. Those kinds of things I think will really help. If you can contact people or connect with people that are within the certain field that you are a part of, or or connected with somehow, that also I think will allow you to get your foot in the door. A lot of this can be done through LinkedIn. If you have a LinkedIn account, that's definitely something that you can utilize, and will get you to be more recognized. And it really, I think, helps you too once you are employed. Then you will be able to connect with various other people, and it'll expand your prospects of moving up too. So it's not just getting that first job, it's also expanding your options. So that's something that's, I think, really important. I would really recommend people to find employment around where they live to start off with, because again, most college students end up going back to living with their parents for a while. I'd say that it would save you a lot of money and a lot of time and resources. Unless it's maybe like a training thing where you just go out for a couple of days or a couple of weeks and then you come back to your home. But I would definitely recommend staying close to home as you can, because gas costs so much, and commuting from a very long distance really drains you and drains your capacity to ultimately do the work that maybe you really ultimately want to do, because again, that whole stress of driving and getting there really, I think, impacts people's minds a lot. So I think it's really important to just try to stick around the area, try to stick around someplace where it's local, and it'll save you so much money, so much time, so much hassle. Unless you really want to move out of state, and again, I only recommend this if you know what you're getting into is something that will be a good outlet for you. And I would say that, I don't want to say moving out of state is permanent, but it makes it really difficult and on yourself if you're moving constantly. And you don't have any sense of stability. You're just constantly moving, hanging there from a job to job. It doesn't really look that well on another job that you potentially want to have when you are moving around from job to job and place to place. So I would really recommend starting with stability, and that stability you will get from staying more close to home, staying to where your family is around, staying to where those you are close to and developed real connections with over the years. You really don't want to leave that unless you feel totally alienated in the place that you live. That probably would be my only recommendation to someone if they are looking for a job. If the place that they live in doesn't provide them any sense of real stability or comfort, then yes, I would say move. But I think the majority of cases is, usually when you are out of college, you go back home, and it really does save you a lot of time, a lot of money, and you can save money. The idea is to save money so you can get out. So why not start just being close to home? It just I think would work. It would work wonders for a lot of people, and it would make it a lot more convenient. But I mean, again, it's all dependent on circumstances. But I think if you are going back home, chances are it would probably be best to find something within the area. Because again, rent is expensive, and again, if you don't own a house, it's really tossing money away out the door. So that's something that I think needs to be considered as to where you want to ultimately work at. But and my advice would be to just stay closest to home. But again, depending on your circumstances, I'm just saying on a more general sense, I think it's better for a lot of people. But ultimately, those are really all the recommendations that I have when it comes to this particular topic. If there are any questions, comments, concerns, I'm more than happy to answer them. If you have any other advice for anybody, you're more than welcome to share it. If you have any concerns, or if you feel like that you've done all of the things that I've been saying to do, then feel free to let me know. And I want this channel to be a place where people can, bring out whatever circumstances they're in, and if I can try to help them out, that would be fantastic, because I really admire and enjoy helping people. So if you want to have any other advice, feel free to let me know. But thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all have a pleasant day, week, month, and year. And goodbye, and thank you so much for watching.